Well, hello, friends. This is TexAgs Rewind. I am your host, David Nuño, and today on the show, Kennedy Cavan, who's our news and social host here on Fridays, usually in a peppy mood. Today, not so peppy, but then
I put on the helmet.
And then it all changed.
Yep.
What's your favorite part of the show today?
My favorite part of the show today was...
You look ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
But I like it. Go ahead.
My favorite part of the show was when you and Olin were doing that little bit about...
Make a case?
Yeah, make a case.
Yeah. What was that about? Oh my God. Who did that to you?
Richard.
You can't do that.
I know, it's rude.
All right, we made a case. Basically, I had a bunch of things. Nick threw us some ideas, and I had to make a case. OB had to make a case for why A&M would, Buzz would win Coach of the Year, why they could win out, that kind of stuff. It's good stuff. You'll like it. We did that. We did the baseball bunch. Who's your favorite of the baseball bunch?
You.
I don't really consider myself part of the baseball bunch, but I'll take it. Thank you very much. My baseball knowledge is superior. And then we did Mark French, talking a little basketball. That was fun. And, of course, Billy Liucci for the hour. Running back room, I think they're going to be pretty good, like really good. What do you think? That's all coming up next on TexAgs Rewind. Behind the Glass, where Nick Savage will ask us a couple of questions because we have to make a case for something. Hello, Nick.
Hello, David. Let's make a case for the Ags to win out.
All right, OB, how you want to start this one off? Because to me, I'll just say a couple things. They're better than Mississippi State and Ole Miss, right? So by that being said, they should and can win. I know going on the road is very difficult, but if they tackle that game the way they've tackled the last stretch of the season, they're going to win. Mississippi State was hot before they lost to Kentucky. They had won 5 in a row. Hopefully that left hook kind of exposed who they really are. And you've got a potential title game against Bama. And Bama, I know they didn't seem vulnerable against South Carolina, but they did. Brandon Miller was incredible. Maybe with all the distractions going on, they're vulnerable. And just guess what? You're pretty good. You can win that game.
Here's what I'll say. Okay, here's my case. All right, first of all, you got to beat Mississippi State. They're one of the worst offensive teams in the league. In fact, they ranked 13th in the SEC in scoring. They're last in the SEC in field goal percentage. 3-point percentage and free throw percentage. And when A&M has trouble, typically it's the other team is hurting them from the 3-point range.
Right.
So you're looking at the worst team in the SEC in 3-point shooting. Now they are good and they play better at home, but A&M has been a good road team. So they're going to beat them. That's my case for beating Mississippi State. Ole Miss is tied with LSU for the worst team in the SEC. So I think that's all I have to say about that one. And then so it comes back to the game at Reed Arena against Alabama. Well, how many of the Aggies won in a row at Reed Arena? I mean, they haven't lost since, my goodness, Wofford.
Yep.
But since then, I mean, they just knocked off Tennessee. They've beaten Arkansas. They've beaten Missouri. You just go down Auburn. Alabama went on the road and got just absolutely blown out by Oklahoma.
Right.
Where were they when they might have been at home when they lost to Tennessee. I can't remember where that game was. But they just went to South Carolina and was
close.
Fortunate to win. So I think Alabama, though without a doubt extremely talented and one of the best teams in the country, when they are vulnerable, when the Crimson Tide is vulnerable, it's on the road. And
A&M's good.
A&M is strong at home.
They're strong everywhere.
And A&M doesn't have any players that I'm aware of
involved in
any kind of trouble.
Yep.
And you just wonder, as this continues to be talked about and scrutinized, if the pressure doesn't eventually affect Alabama and Miller in particular.
All right, Nick, number 2.
Make a case for Buzz to be the SEC Coach of the Year.
I think that case has already been made.
It's done. They give it to either the best team in the league or a team that is outperforming what everybody thought, right? Buzz is both. I'd rather see better baseball if it's going to be 15 minutes. If it's an hour, maybe there's a difference. But 15 isn't worth some of these changes. Where do you guys stand on that?
So I liked what Bronny had to say yesterday, because when I'm at the games, I'm thinking about it from the writer's standpoint. I want to get home. I don't want
Right.
to be there super late like we were a lot of times last year. So I do notice a distinct change.
You do.
And Friday night, when Detmer and I forget Seattle's starter, when they were trading blows, they were throwing up zeros, it was a lot faster. I think they played the first 4.5 in about an hour.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
then when they started getting into the bullpens and the game slows down, you see that a lot. And then even Tuesday night, I didn't think it was that slow because both teams used 5, 6, 7 pitchers, however many Lamar used, and we were only there for like 3 hours and 15 minutes. But like Bronny said, you're shaving off 15 minutes of game time and you're changing the game completely. Like you've got guys throwing, lazy pickoffs to second base, but actually to the shortstop at the shortstop's position to save your one time out as a pitcher. It does change the game a lot, and I think the college rules are better pace of play than what we're going to see at the big league level, because that is going to change the game a lot, because you're going to see stolen bases go way up because you only get one pickoff, and the college game you can use as many as you want. But yeah, I think they're going overboard with the pace of play rules, and it changes the game.
I thought we saw the pickoffs last year anyway. I think that was, for no reason to throw to a base. So that was already part of what college baseball did in reaction to what a rule change. If it's 15 minutes, I still think it's kind of organic, to the game. I want to see the sample size a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see when you've got two teams that when, somebody else using the wristband and you're playing, not going to play Vandy, but somebody else doing that. How's that going to be when both teams can go fast? Maybe I noticed the quick pitch that opponents were trying to do more than I noticed anything from the batter's point of view, that they were not going to let the pitchers go. And then that slows it down just a brief second. I like a better communication method to get away from misreading signs. And, we'll see if there's a course correction, clarification after 3 or 4 weeks before, I guess ACC would get started because they start conference earlier. If there's an NCAA clarification between now and the beginning of SEC play.
It has already begun to change. And we listened to Schloss yesterday say, we have guys on our team that are going to have to speed up their routine between pitches because they're getting into the box late, and the pitcher's already like starting his motion, or like baseball's really rhythmic,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Rhythmic. And if a guy gets in the box late and the pitcher's already started, like his whole thing's screwed up. So there needs to be spacing for all this stuff to happen and for the hitters to be right mentally. And I don't care what you say. If you played baseball at any kind of semi-high level, you understand how important your routine is when you get in the box.
Mm-hmm. Wade is now on the national scene, which is really cool because we haven't had an A&M player, especially at a guard position, really be on the national radar since maybe, Admon or Caruso. And so it's just super exciting. He's just a thrill to watch. Like sometimes you just get caught up just focusing in on him because it's so fun. There's a spirit about him that he plays with that it's just really contagious. And I think it's rubbed off on the rest of the guys, And so I'm so happy for Wade. Obviously 25 points, 16 to 17 from the free throw line the other night. 4 steals, none bigger than the end of the game one. I really trust Wade, and this is only year 2, so just imagine what year 3 could have in store. But no, he's electric, and he's the straw that stirs the drink. There's no doubt about it. And if you go look at, you want to do something fun, or any basketball nerds that are listening, go back and look at Buzz's best teams. They've always had a point guard like that. Like Virginia Tech, it was J-Rob, who Buzz referred to as 5, right? And now it's Wade, who he refers to as 4. So if you get the number nickname, you're probably doing something right. So kudos to Wade. He's been phenomenal.
One thing I'm not concerned about is running back. I think, I said all last year, they think Le'Veon Moss can be a superstar here. Like they meaning Jimbo Fisher, meaning in that building. I mean, I've talked to Jimbo directly about Le'Veon Moss and what he could be. And there were times last year where he was probably getting pretty close to getting in there. You know, like, and not getting in there, but seeing his reps really go up. And then I've said a million times, I like what I saw from Amari Daniels, and now he's a veteran. And then Reuben Owens, not just a 5-star, but a 5-star that's here now that's really turning heads, and that's always a good sign. We said the same thing last year about a couple guys, namely like an Evan Stewart, Donovan Green, and look what happened with them last year.
Yeah. As for some of the reasons I gave for why running game should be better, I expect the offensive line to be better. I do expect that because I think they played better as the year went on. I think having Connor or Max back there with the combination of Bobby, knowing that you can throw, they can't stack the box like they used to. Mm-hmm. And I know you mentioned Amari, but I'll throw in Reuben Owens. If Quinshon Judkins did what he did last year, why not Reuben Owens?
Absolutely. And like I said, he's already turning heads. Mm-hmm. And talent's not a question. You're right. If Quinshon Judkins and Zach Evans can do it, why can't it be Reuben Owens and either Daniels or Moss?
Yeah. And remember, people did not know they did there, but Judkins was not a name. People expected Zach to be the guy.
And I'm saying, don't sleep on Moss. People, I feel like, don't. He was, remember, you flipped him from Bama, and they wanted him bad, and then LSU tried to get him late, and you saw a little bit of him last year. He's a grown-ass man back there and wants it. So I like their situation, like I do at a lot of positions. I like their situation at O-line. I have to see the improvement.
Yeah.
But I mean.
All right, Capster, tell them what to do.
You got to
You got to lock the door.
I've been really bad about saying the wrong words. You have to like, you have to comment, and you have to subscribe.
I like it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend. Go Ags. Kick 'em.